What is up, guys? Today I wanted to discuss what caused the Bitcoin sell off and are we seeing a top in the stock markets, plus some buying opportunities that may be available today. All right, guys, let's get started. Bitcoin is sitting at $68,360 currently. And yesterday into this morning, we saw Bitcoin sell off approximately from the very top here down to the bottom of this wick, about 11%. So, what does that mean for Bitcoin? Are we going to see continued selling or should we be buying the dip? Well, there's a couple things we need to look at here. And when we zoom in and look at, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Actually, let's go to the 1-hour chart. I think this shows this better. Yeah, so yesterday afternoon, Bitcoin began to sell off and it tapped this line of resistance at 68.5. It then pumped back up and sold off yesterday evening and overnight. So, where do we stand? Is this line that was acting as support now become resistance? Well, that's possible. Um, but really, I want to take a look at some bigger levels here because we had this area of accumulation last week. And right now, Bitcoin is maintaining that price. Maybe things need to cool down a little bit. We were overbought on the RSI on the daily. As you can see, it's starting to cool off on the 4-hour. And if we go to the daily, we're still in the kind of overheated area, cooling off a little bit, now dropping down to 63. So it's looking a little bit better. Bitcoin has had a big run over the past couple weeks and couple months, really. And so it probably needs to just cool down a little bit and reaccumulate. So what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Well, it's hard to say. That was an 11% pullback. The last pullback we had was 15%. And the previous pullbacks we've seen in this cycle were around 20%. Excuse me, guys, still getting over this little sinus thing I got going on. But anyway, so far this cycle, Bitcoin has seen mainly 15 to 20% pullbacks. We had an 11% pullback yesterday. Where could Bitcoin go? Well, if we lose this level, the next line of resistance would be this area right down here. So we could see possibly a little bounce here. Um, that may be possible. If so, that would be a very good buying opportunity. Let's measure that out. That's about a 20% correction. Now, if we lose that level, then where could we go? Well, we may see this kind of bounce down here, come up, and then possibly fall even further down to this $52,000 area. And if that were to happen, then that would be about a 30% sell off. And from what I've seen in previous markets, That was pretty common during the bull run back in 2021. The 2017 run had even bigger pullbacks of about 35 to 40%. So it is possible we could go down and maybe retest some of these other lower areas. But we need to take a look and see what else is going on in the markets because I think that's going to be a big indicator. First of all, you got this KSI crypto. I don't know if there's a way to pronounce that, but he said, we're going to look back and realize this was the top signal was very obvious because dog with hat meme coin was displayed on the dome out in Las Vegas. And I kind of tend to agree with him. Whenever you see things such as memes uh, all over the news and everyone talking about these coins that are basically worthless, they're entertaining, but they're worthless, then that's a good time to be cautious in the market because that could be a sign of a top. Now, I don't think we're in the top for Bitcoin. I think we're going much higher, but I do think that we probably do see a little bit more of a pullback here, possibly in the short term leading into the halving before things go really parabolic. And there's a couple reasons why I say that as well. Well, typically, number one, in the stock market, you see a pullback this time of year. And number two, we're starting to see a lot of the Magnificent Seven stocks sell off. Over the past couple weeks, we've seen Apple sell off. Tesla has been selling off and has still not really found a bottom yet. Nvidia had this engulfing wick a couple days ago and is just kind of chopping sideways. And the Qs have fallen out of this ascending channel that we had. So for the big tech stocks, this could be the top. Um, we've had a lot of growth really fast, and when that happens, typically things don't end so well. So where are we going? Well, I think the Qs could go lower. We need to wait a little bit, set back, and just watch and see what happens here because these things take a little time generally to kind of tell us which direction they're heading. And if we go back to the Nvidia chart, we've had such an epic run up. Let's go to the daily. That you can see there's a lot of gaps left behind on this run. So we could see Nvidia fall quite substantially, possibly. If we start to see signs of uh, lower lows and lower highs, then I might try to take an opportunity to short this market. I wouldn't do it right now. I tried to short Nvidia uh, last year back when it was down. It was around in this area here. It just seemed like it ran up so far at that point, and we had already had this gap back here that it was going to correct, and I just kept getting wrecked on those trades. So I finally closed an Apple short that I had from last year. Made a little bit of profit off that, a couple percent, but I still have a short on the Qs. Um, it's in the negative right now, but I'm leaving it open because I think we probably do see this market start to cool off. Um, so let's discuss what that means for the other markets and what else may have caused this sell off yesterday. Well, one thing we have is the maximum pain, the options. Max pain was at 494 on the SPY, and those options expired today. So, you know, the markets and Wall Street, the big institutions, they like to, obviously, they want to make money. And so they try to manipulate or move the markets in their favor so they can make the most money. So you have that. I think that's part of what we're starting to see. And we are in that seasonality time of year where we typically see the market sell off. So I think it's part of it. What's that mean overall? Well, I think that we're going to start seeing a rotation into some small and mid cap stocks as well as cryptos. And I've been talking about this here, the IWM, for a little while now. I think we're going to see the IWM probably start to pick up once uh, we get closer to knowing if the Fed is going to cut rates. The PPI data came out yesterday. It was hotter than expected. And so that questions whether the Fed is going to cut rates sooner or later. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. So what stocks am I looking at purchasing at these levels? Well, there's a couple things outside of some of these small cap stocks and cryptos, but these are the main ones that I've been keeping an eye on. First one being Robinhood. Excuse me, guys. Mainly because as Bitcoin goes up, uh, things like Robinhood and Coinbase go up. They acquire more users, more transactions, and therefore their stock price goes up. So Robinhood's up today. I bought some Robinhood last week. I believe it was. I think it was the end of last week. It could have been beginning of this week. Somewhere down around this area, I believe it was. But yeah, Robinhood's looking good. Mara has seen a little bounce. When I saw the dip on Bitcoin yesterday, uh, the initial wick down to that 68,500, 69,000 area, I bought some more Riot because I thought we were getting a good entry price. I wanted to buy some more Mara, but I was already stacked. I have a lot of stacked up on Mara, so but right now Mara is a good buy zone. I think Riot's a good buy zone. It went down and tapped this uh, trend line we have here, so I think those are good potential buys right now. And I also saw BitDeer was doing really well this morning. Another crypto miner. So if you're interested in buying any stocks or cryptos or some of these altcoins, Prime XBT is a good way to do that. And they allow you to trade crypto futures, global markets, or you can do copy trading with expert traders. I was looking at a couple of these guys' accounts the other day. Amazing what they've been able to do. But you have access to all these. Plus, you can buy on margin and use leverage. The leverage play I had on Philcoin got stopped out yesterday during this wick, but that's okay. I'm looking to build this account more in the future, but their platform offers a really good way to be able to buy, sell, and trade crypto and stocks. So if you're interested, there's a link down below. Let's also discuss what else may have caused this sell-off yesterday. The spot Bitcoin ETF inflow dropped by 80%. So this was yesterday, and you can see the total spot ETF flows here. And Tuesday, we had a record-breaking $1 billion of inflows. And then Wednesday was 683. Thursday was only 132. So this really was a lack of these big financial institutions buying more Bitcoin. You can see here some of these numbers are substantially less than their previous numbers. So that's part of it, but that's the ebbs and flows of things. It's not always going to be all green all the time. That's not healthy. So these pullbacks are healthy. Another thing we have to consider is we have the halving coming up, and we typically see a pullback on Bitcoin and in crypto pre-halving, as we've seen the last halving cycles. So that is also another indicator, I guess, if you will, of why we potentially saw some of this sell off. Now, don't get me wrong, Bitcoin's still strong. I would like to see it pull back here a little more, but I really think right now is just the beginning for this altcoin season. Some of these altcoins are holding up really well, like Chainlink is maintaining this area of accumulation right now. So I like Chainlink at these levels. Maybe if it came back down to this trend line around 17, might offer a little bit better entry, but overall, Chainlink looks like it wants to take off. Another one is Solana. Solana is absolutely ripping to the upside at $185 per coin. So Solana is strong and is taking over in market cap. It could potentially take over Ethereum this Bitcoin cycle. So Solana is strong. Ethereum sold off yesterday, and as you can see, it's in this broadening wedge pattern, which wicked down to 35.70. And so this really kind of offers probably a good chance to buy in on Ethereum if you missed the run so far. Me myself, I didn't have near as much Ethereum as I was hoping to have by this point. And so I'm going to look to buy here more. I'm just kind of letting the market settle a little bit today to see what happens. But I'm starting to like Ethereum at these prices. I think what you're going to see here is Bitcoin probably continues to consolidate or possibly correct a little more. I think consolidation right now is probably really where it's at. And as it does, it's going to allow some of these other altcoins to run. and gain strength for their next leg up. And so I think Ethereum uh, can go much higher. If we zoom out here a little bit, you can see we just broke through that $4,000 level. And if we zoom out to the weekly, well, we've got more upside potential. And I think the next level for Ethereum is going to be retesting these previous highs around the $4,600 to $4,800 range. But right now on the RSI, it is kind of high, so I would like it to see it cool off just a little bit, gain some strength back, and then go higher. So where can you buy Ethereum, Bitcoin, and some of these other layer ones such as Link and Solana? I Trust Capital is a good way to do it. That's what I have done. I've rolled over a portion of my IRA into I Trust Capital. It's a good way to get some exposure to Bitcoin and some of these cryptocurrencies, as well as gold and silver. If you have an IRA or 401k, it allows you to roll over all or a portion of it into I Trust Capital and gain some exposure and transfer that into a tax advantage account. Of course, if you already have an IRA or 401k, it is a tax advantage account. But if you're new to investing and you want to save on taxes, this is a good way to do it because whenever you make gains like this, you are going to pay taxes, and uh, those will eat up a lot of your returns. It really adds up, especially once you start making a lot of money. And they allow you to trade 24/7 with a low cost and no monthly fee. So if you're interested in I Trust Capital, you can click the link down below and get started. They were super helpful whenever I set up my account, and their customer service was fantastic. And as you can see, they have over 3,000 plus 5-star reviews on Google. So it's a good way to trade crypto. I like it. That's why I use I Trust Capital. And another thing is when you're online, you want to protect your identity and protect your profits when you're investing and trading. So you need to get yourself a Nord VPN or a VPN in general, but I chose Nord because they have a 63% off discount. And so for less than $3 a month, you can protect your online identity, and it allows you to gain access to things such as Prime XBT. So there's also a link for this down in the description below if you're interested. And just be sure you're safe out there when you're online. You don't want to get scammed or hacked, and you definitely don't want to lose your hard-earned money. All right, guys, that wraps it up for me here today. Stay safe out there, guys. Get out there and enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next week here at Mind of the Financier. Until next time, guys, stay tuned and be legendary. Have a great weekend.